What is going on, everyone's Nero again, here for you, some Battlefield 4, as well as this week's episode of Dear Nero, which of course is a weekly series here on my channel where you guys send me in fan mail and or fan questions. And of course I do my best to go ahead and try and answer them for you guys. Lately they've been kind of long. Lately this is not so much Q&A session as it is like a solo podcast. They've been going on rather long as of recently. Do I plan to continue to make them long? It really depends on the questions I get for that week. I have an open office document in front of me here where I copy and paste the questions from my YouTube inbox, and we've got about 2 pages worth of questions. How long this particular episode goes on for will really depend on how long it takes me to answer all these questions. So we're going to hop into this with the first question, which is going to be kind of a sad one, but kind of not. He writes, Dear Nero, my parents recently got divorced. I am extremely depressed and my grades have dropped since. I know your parents got divorced and I need some help getting through this stage of my life. Any advice? So this person neglected to leave his or her name. So you're right in saying that my parents got divorced. My parents got divorced this summer between 7th and 8th grade. So I would have been, goodness, between 12 and 13, right? Somewhere in that ballpark area, somewhere in there. So I was a younger guy, and we lived in a certain area there for a long time, my entire life just about, since I was 5. Everything I knew was there, and one day we get up and we move. I have to join a whole new school. I have to meet all new people. My world was flipped upside down. And I wasn't quite depressed. Alright, I wasn't super depressed from it. And I'm just going to use names of towns and places. So I grew up in Grand Valley for the most part. And that's where I lived with my parents. Then they got divorced. And then I moved with my mom, kind of going with my mom. And we moved to Titusville. And Titusville was like, it's only like 20 minutes away, 15, 20 minutes away. It's not very far. But we moved there, and it's like a whole new town because, we never went there. That wasn't even in my school district, so I didn't go to this school. I didn't, nothing. I didn't know anything of what was going on. But it was somewhat easier for me because I had tons of family that lived around Titusville, and I still do. A lot of my cousins lived around Titusville, so that made it somewhat easy. I at least knew some people, and when I moved here, and people would there were a lot of nice people. A girl named Vicky comes to mind. There was just a lot of nice people that when I moved here, they kind of broke the ice for me, and it kind of made it a little bit easier for me to make this transition. Some people just happened to be nice to me and wanted to start talking to me, wanted to know a little bit about me. It was nice knowing that I had my cousins and stuff that lived here. They were older than me, but I can just say, oh, do you know Nick or do you know Selena? Those are my cousins. I just moved here, and it worked out. It wasn't as bad for me in terms of the divorce. You say you're depressed and your grades are dropping. It can be a difficult time. For me, I wasn't personally depressed because my parents have fought and fought and fought for many years, and it was very clear that they were not getting along and something about them just didn't mesh. Same thing might have happened to your parents. You didn't say how old you are in the question. You didn't say maybe the specifics of the divorce, but your parents probably just don't get along very well. And it's a really common thing, as bad as that is. I thought of this while I was copy and pasting this question from my YouTube inbox on here to Microsoft Office or Open Office. I'm thinking to myself, I think it's actually a more rare occurrence if you talk to your friends at school, or just people in school in general, run a survey. I think it's honestly more common for parents to be divorced than for them to be together at this point. Think about this. Everyone's grandparents, now it's sad to say that probably a lot of people's grandparents have died, but how many of your grandparents were actually together? Alright? Everyone's grandparents are still together, but everyone's parents are divorced. That's kind of how it is. It seems like whatever generation our parents are, they get divorced often. You say you're depressed, you say you're having bad grades. It's a better thing. Both your mother and your father are going to be happier people now that they're separated. Alright, and as long as, one doesn't decide to move to Albuquerque and completely just uproot your entire life, then it's not the worst thing in the world. Of course, if you're younger, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you have to kind of go between houses or depending on the situation, but divorce happens. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of your friends, and you can talk to them about it. And it's not the worst thing in the world, even though when it first happens, it kind of hits you hard. It's like, damn. But it will get better. I promise you it will get better. Next question, he writes. Dear Nero, I'm a new YouTuber and I'm really stuck. I have to choose between getting a $900 PC for my videos and live streaming or to get an Xbox One. I'm really undecided and I would welcome your opinion. Thank you and have a wonderful night. So he likes to break the norm of have a wonderful day, say have a wonderful night. I like it. I like it. Thinking outside the box. So you have to choose basically between a PC. Now I'm not going to get into the specifics of the PC because I don't know the specifics of PCs. I'm not very good. Wildcat picked out my PC and I got my graphics. I purchased my own graphics card and installed it, but while I'm purchasing it, I'm taking pictures of it and sending it to Fox. I'm like, is this a good graphics card? And then while I'm installing my graphics card by myself, I'm sending picture after picture to Foxhound. And I'm like, dude, okay, look, so does this go here? Because this looks like it might go here. I'm very bad with PC. So $900 PC, I can believe it. If you're getting a good processor and you're getting yourself a good graphics card with it, it might run you $900. And believe it or not, you need really good PCs to make some quality YouTube videos. Between the PC and the Xbox One, definitely the PC. If you want to be a YouTuber, you're going to need a better PC. Plain and simple. And the Xbox One has kind of disappointed a lot of people. So definitely go with the PC. And that kind of falls into the next question, in which he writes, Dear Nero, sorry for the late question, but I just watched your Sledgehammer Next Call of Duty news video. I was wondering, what was your opinion of how much better the Xbox One is compared to the Xbox 360? Would it be worth my money to upgrade for the next Call of Duty, or is there not that much of a difference? Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Tyler from Oregon. So Tyler from Oregon, this kind of goes, like I said, into the previous question. The Xbox One is not worth being a Call of Duty machine. If you're a Call of Duty player, do not purchase a $500 Call of Duty machine. Alright, let me tell you the differences between Call of Duty Ghost on the Xbox One as compared to the Xbox 360. And I'm going to say the same thing goes for the PS3 and the PS4. Even though I don't have them, I can tell from videos, and these are the differences. One, if you buy an Xbox One or a next-gen console and buy Call of Duty Ghost, and it's basically a Call of Duty machine, because I understand a lot of you, Call of Duty is the only game you play. Not too many differences. One, you have Ground War. They added Ground War, so that 9v9 thing is there. They added that. Two, Infected has 18 people in it now. More people in Infected. And three, the graphics are a bit better. That's all you get. Those are the only differences between the Xbox One and the PlayStation. I'm really bad at talking. The only differences between the Xbox One and the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 and the PS4. Alright, those are the differences. Aside from that, your headset's not going to work. It just isn't. If you have a gaming headset, let me grab mine here. If you have a gaming headset that you use to like to hear the game, or you like to have a game going on inside your head, it might work with the Xbox One, but your chat cable won't. So you're going to be set using your Kinect as your microphone, and they suck. The Kinect has always sucked. It's a bit better, but it's still pretty awful. It's not very good. And if you record videos using the Kinect as your microphone, ruins everything. It makes the people's voices are on your videos, and it's a bad thing. Or you can use that dinky little headset that comes with the Xbox One, and you can try and wrap that thing around your neck and then use it that way. Some works for some people, doesn't work for me. For whatever reason, when my headset is plugged in and I wrap this dinky little Xbox One headset that comes with it around my neck to try and use it to speak, it works in that my teammates can hear me talk. With this, yeah, they can hear me talking. I can't hear them speaking because for whatever reason, voice chat does not come through my headset. It only comes through the dinky Xbox headset. It's like, the audio is so bad on this, and honestly, I'm probably just going to go back to the Xbox 360 for a while. I'm tired of it. I can't play Call of Duty Ghosts on the Xbox One with people. I mean, I can, but I can't talk to them. And where's the fun in that? Where's the fun? Gaming is a social thing, and without that social aspect, like I have all these subscribers on my friends list, yeah, I can't talk to any one of them. Or if I do want to talk to them, I can't have game audio. And people like, they do this to me, and they did while I was playing with them. They're wondering about this, and I'm like, you guys have no freaking clue. They're like, wow, I didn't realize how much you rely on sound to do well, because I was having a lot of bad games back to back. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm not, the fact that I can't use my headset when I want to talk to people, I have to use that stupid Microsoft headset. It's not that I can't hear footsteps. It's not that I can't sound tour. It's that I have no idea what's happening at all ever in Call of Duty Ghosts without any form of sound, right? In this game, there's no UAV. And if there is a UAV up, people are still running the Ghost perk, whatever it's called, off the grid. It slipped my mind what the name of the perk was. People are running that. So UAV is like not a factor, right? What does help you is you can hear the soldiers yelling, and you can hear their footsteps, and you can hear the sounds of guns being shot, and that's kind of how you have an idea of where the enemy is, right? I don't have that. If I want to talk to subscribers while I play them, I'm playing completely deaf. I'm walking into a building, and for all I know, World War III could have just happened in that building. I have no idea. I couldn't hear a single thing, and everyone uses a silencer in this game. So, that was really long-winded for the answer. Basically, the answer is no, you should not upgrade if you are a Call of Duty only player. Now, if you want to play Battlefield, I definitely say Battlefield is much better on next gen than it is on the current gen or last gen. That's weird. So there's last gen and next gen. So it's really good on the 360, or really good on the Xbox One, really good on the PS4, not so good on the 360 and on the PS3. And of course, there's a wide array of other games that are coming out, such as Titanfall. So if you're more than a Call of Duty player, next gen consoles might be for you. If you're not, if you're only a Call of Duty player, then don't even bother. Not worth it yet. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I remember you saying you did not like game betas. Why? They're a fun sneak peek, and you can see what might be a good game. Also, are you going to play the Titanfall beta? So I'm not a fan of betas for one of a couple of reasons. So I haven't played a ton of betas. I haven't. I've seen videos of betas, and I played the Battlefield 3 beta, and it's just not a real fun experience. You know, it's very limited as to what you can do in a beta, and there's glitches, there's known glitches. Every single beta, people can get underneath the map, and there's horrible things that just break. They're just not that cool. There's no game out there that I'm like super excited for a beta. Although, I did sign up to try and be a part of the Titanfall beta. The reason I signed up to be part of the Titanfall beta is I wanted to learn a little bit about the game before it releases, so maybe I can make some decent videos of it. Kind of like buying Call of Duty Ghost early. I bought in Black Ops 2 as well as Call of Duty Ghost early, paid obscure amounts of money just to acquire those games like a week or so early so I can play it against all the tryhards that buy the game early, and I know what to expect. I know how the maps play, and I know how stuff happens, so I can make the best videos of the game when it comes out. That's why you buy games early, and that's why you try and play betas as a YouTuber. Now, necessarily, do I like playing the beta? No, because it's not really a fun experience playing the beta. If you're playing a beta for fun, and enjoyable, awesome, fun time, it really isn't. There's glitches galore. It's not a finished game. It's not a final product. It's not going to be that fun of a playing experience, but if you're a YouTuber, or just a serious gamer that's really interested in the game that's coming out, it is at that point a learning experience and a tool for which you can learn from. And that's what I'm going to do with Titanfall beta. If, of course, I am one of the people randomly selected to be a part of it, I would like that. I would learn what I can from the game. Then when the game actually drops, I can make the best videos I can for you guys here on YouTube. So that might be a nice thing. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I'm a longtime fan / subscriber, and I've loved your Moab Monday and your Moab Friday series. I remember in them you sometimes had the gamer tag called Incoming Moab. What happened to it? Ken from Massachusetts. So Ken, I can tell you're definitely a longtime fan if you remember when I had the gamer tag Incoming Moab. It was an alternate account I had just for Modern Warfare 3 just to goof around on and really try hard my stats up and such. And I just stopped using it. I believe I actually probably changed the name of it to SBNE20, which is basically the 2, and it's Nero with a 2 for the R, signifying it's my second account. Yeah, so I just changed it after Modern Warfare 3 ended. I just thought it was kind of silly to have the name Incoming Moab playing Black Ops 2 or something like that. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's what happened to that gamer tag. I still own the account, the SBNE20 account. I just don't use it. Still paying on it, but I don't use it. I should probably do something with it. I don't know. Just pay freaking $30 every 3 months or whatever it is, 25 I think. I don't know. Just directly comes out of my account. Next question. He writes, Dear Nero, in the last Dear Nero, you said that you played some of the South Park games and enjoyed them. So I was wondering, are you going to be buying the new South Park game, The Stick of Truth? So yeah, that game sounds fun, sounds super interesting. The South Park games I played, there was one called Chef's Love Shack or something. I didn't play that. I don't know what that game was about. Although I I think I remember seeing like a video of it. I'm like, oh, it's one of those. Yeah, I don't care for those. Kind of like the South Park tower defense game. I bought that, but turns out I'm not a big tower defense fan. I don't know. But there was a South Park game, self-titled South Park. It's kind of like a first-person shooter, but with snowballs. And there was, of course, South Park Rally, which was basically Mario Kart, but South Park, South Parkinized. I'm just gonna make up that word right now. Yeah, it was kind of like that. So South Park Stick of Truth, it looks kind of cool. What I think is coolest about it is that the graphics of the game are exactly that of the TV show, which is pretty neat. It's a pretty neat idea, a pretty neat concept. You get to make your character be in a little South Park world and play through whatever story it is. That I'm sure it's going to be hilarious because Trey Parker and Matt Stone are just geniuses. Some of the things they do on South Park are in bad taste, even in my opinion, but a lot of the stuff they do is hilarious. The movie they did, Basketball, was freaking... If you guys haven't seen Basketball, oh my goodness, that is a fantastic movie. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix. I'm actually fairly positive it isn't, but do some research on this movie. It's called Basketball. Write me in the comments if you've seen Basketball. I want to know if there's any other people out there that have actually seen this movie. It's a movie written by and starring Matt Stone and Trey Parker, who are the people that make South Park. And the whole point of the movie is they invent this like driveway game. It's like, you play basketball in your driveway. They play that, but with baseball rules, and it becomes a professional sport, and it's just hilarious. The whole movie is just freaking genius. I love the entire thing. That's a really fun movie. So I'm basically a big fan of just about everything that Matt Stone and Trey Parker do. So I'll definitely be checking out South Park: The Stick of Truth whenever it is that comes out. I haven't been following it too closely, but all I know is it's been advertised a lot and that they've been making the game. But other than that, that's all we really know is they're making the game. I should probably look up if there's any more news on that or if we're getting close to a release date or anything like that. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, lately I have been freaking out about my kill-death ratio. My KD was like 0.80 when I started Ghost, but then I started watching your videos, and they made me better. So I made a new online account just so I could have a fresh start. For some reason, I suck and I can't focus when I play with friends. So I now have like a 1.2 KD on that one. And that just wasn't good enough. So I made another account, as OCD as that sounds, and I only play by myself on that one. And it's currently at a 1.9 KD, which I am much happier with. This got me wondering, what is your current COD Ghost KD, and does someone's KD really matter to you as a player? And this person neglected to leave his or her name. So my KD in Ghost, I guess first and foremost, I have no idea. It's somewhere north of 2, like a 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2 something. It's between 2 and 2.5, somewhere in there. I really don't know. God knows I'm not playing too much Call of Duty Ghost to pay attention or care. My kill death ratio, does it matter? Does it matter to other people? Should it matter? KD does matter to a certain extent. It does matter. The people that say KD matters nothing, it does not matter at all, typically have bad KDs. It typically happens. And what I like about kill death ratio is it shows you're a consistent player. Same goes for win loss ratio. It shows that you win more, you get more kills than you die, and you do it consistently. Now, to have like a positive KD, not too impressive. To have a 2 KD, that's all right. Have a 3 KD, you're probably a pretty beastly player that does well in every single lobby. So that's what I like to try and be. I like to be somewhere between that 2 and that 3 KD to let me know that I'm winning a lot of my gunfights. I'm doing well consistently, as well as my win-loss ratio. And I've always thought, and I've always maintained, I don't know, the ideology that you should have a higher win-loss ratio than you do your kill-death ratio. And for me, like in Black Ops 2, I had like a 2.5 KD and like a 6-something win-loss. During Modern Warfare 3, I think I had like a 2 KD and like a 17 win-loss ratio. It was absurd. We never lost a match. For whatever reason, in Black Ops 2, a lot more people dashboard and such, which definitely ruins my stats when I'm just playing the game, I'm winning the game, I'm doing well, then the host disconnects. But it happens. Definitely does happen. And in Ghost, I think I've got like a 2-something KD and a 3-something win-loss. Win-loss definitely the lowest it's been in a lot of years, but yeah, I play solo most of the time. And that's why I have to say to you guys, so many people make this thing, like, oh, my KD sucks, so I play solo. Oh, my win-loss sucks, so I play solo. I played Ghost solo probably 90% of the time, and my stats are fine. I played Battlefield 4 solo. It's a game I've never played. I've never really went deep into a Battlefield game until Battlefield 4. And my KD's like a 175 in Battlefield 4, and I win 61% of my matches like equals out somewhere. I did the math. I think somewhere along the lines of like a 1.5, 1.6 win-loss ratio. So for playing 99% solo, I have nearly a 2 KD and about 1.5 win-loss ratio. And you know, you can only do so much. You know, I'm in like the top 3% for like everything in Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One. I'm gonna readjust myself in my chair here because I'm getting very uncomfortable with these long videos sitting in one position the whole time. But I do my best. I have more MVP ribbons than I do losses. You know, I win a lot of my matches and I do rather well. And what I like about kill death ratio, like again, is that it shows what kind of a player you are. If you have a really bad kill death ratio, then you're typically not going to be the greatest of player. That's how it goes. And if people try and argue that, typically don't have great KDs. So what I like about stats is like you can't bullshit. The numbers are there. You know, that's how it goes. There are numbers to back up claims. Like when I did my recon field manual and I said sniping, it's not that useful in Battlefield 4. You have to hit them in the head essentially to get a one-shot kill. It's really hard to do. It's either you're running around trying to play aggressive and dying a lot, or you're sitting in the back picking off 1 or 2 kills now and again and not helping your team at all. And there's always those people, they're like, yeah, no, Nero, you're so wrong on this. I run around with the sniper rifle all the time in Battlefield 4, and I do so well with it. I'm like, all right, what's your origin ID? Right, let's check your battle log. Let's see the numbers to back up that claim. And then they never reply with their origin ID to show their numbers, because they know they're full of shit. You know, that's why I love Call of Duty Elite and I love battle log, because people can't bullshit. When I talk about something, when I talk about this is the best way to play, don't use this, I have numbers to back up what I'm talking about. Because I do well with what I'm talking about, and people don't do well with what I'm talking about. You know, if I say, don't run around with a sniper in Call of Duty, you're going to die a lot more times than you're going to, you know, get kills. That's what happens when you run around quick scoping. And you're like, oh, no, this guy that I watch on YouTube, he's fantastic. Look at his videos. I'm like, all right, let's check his COD Elite. Oh, a 1.1 KD and a 0.5 win-loss ratio. Yeah, he's a beast. You know? There's numbers to back up the claims. If you want to be good at stuff, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to the things I say. I'm right most of the time. I promise you I am. Not on everything, but when it comes to video game stuff, I really do know what I'm talking about, especially in Call of Duty. I put an absurd amount of time in there. But yes, I don't know why I went on that long tangent, but yeah, KD does matter. It's not the biggest thing in the world. You don't need to have like a 3, 4, or 5, or 6 KD. Anywhere from like a 1.5 and above, you're a pretty good player, in my opinion. If you have a 1.5 KD, then you're a pretty good player. And yeah, solid. That's the number I think a lot of people should try and shoot for. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I've been watching Dear Nero since episode 43, and I don't remember this question ever being asked, so I'm going to ask it to you. What was the most annoying class setups that you have ever faced in Call of Duty? Mine has been Juggernaut, Second Chance, Martyrdom, and Modern Warfare 2 and Noob Tubes, which was the only thing people used in that game. Black Ops, I don't remember anything that annoyed me. Modern Warfare 3, I hated when people sniped, and it was all left trigger, right trigger, and aim assist did the rest. Black Ops 2 was LMG target finders and snipers. Call of Duty Ghost is now the Riot Shield C4, which is annoying because you can't even see the guy throw it. And guard dogs, and IEDs, and panic knifing, and the other crap. From Agent 9400 in Georgia. So we got ourselves like a secret agent guy from Georgia. What are the most annoying class setups I faced in Call of Duty? And like we said, I put a lot of time into Call of Duty here. I've seen the good, bad, and the IEDs in Call of Duty. You don't want my nightmares. You don't want my nightmares. So at first I'm like, should I really talk about the most annoying class setups? But I'm like, wait a minute, it's not like they're secret. These happen all the time, you know. A lot of people, I'm like, if I go out there and I say, hey, this is a really annoying setup, then are more people gonna do it? But these things are already out there. Everyone already knows these. So in Call of Duty 4, the most annoying class setup, frag times 3. Frag times freaking 3. The grenades in that game were like mini nukes. They were. People forget about the frag grenades in that game. They were really powerful. And lots of people would run frag times 3. They would spawn in, you get 3 of these frag grenades, these mini nukes in your pocket, and they'd spawn in, run semi-close to an objective, then throw one there, and throw one there. And the chances are you're going to get a kill or 2. It was obnoxious. Last Stand, that was annoying. But it's really more annoying if you're using a shotgun or a sniper. If you're using a full auto or anything like that, Last Stand never bothered me. Juggernaut never bothered me. In fact, Juggernaut and Stopping Power should still be in the game because they balance it. So Call of Duty 4, then we move on to World at War. World at War, the infamous class setup was the MP40 with Juggernaut. The MP40 was the most powerful submachine gun in general in Call of Duty World at War. It didn't have a super high fire rate, but it did have super high damage. I think if you were to play hardcore, some people play hardcore, you play hardcore with the MP40, I'm fairly positive that's a one-shot kill at any range. I think you might have to have stopping power on it for that to work, but yeah, if you play hardcore with an MP40, it's a submachine gun that will kill you in one bullet, no matter what, at any range. It took like 2 or 3 shots to kill. If you put extended mags on it, you got like a 70-something round magazine. It was freaking absurd. It was ridiculous. And then, of course, it was so powerful that you didn't need stopping power, so you just use Juggernaut. So you have a gun that basically has stopping power built in, and you're using Juggernaut, which gave you more health. It was ridiculous. It was absurd. But I don't know. I've always believed that in World at War, the better player wins, and I would use my Thompson with stopping power, and I would eat through MP40 Jugger noobs all day and night. Going from World at War into Modern Warfare 2, there's 2 combinations here that were the most annoying. Well, 3, actually. One was the infamous trick shotter in Search and Destroy. You might see him on top of a roof somewhere. You might see him on a balcony somewhere. You might see him anywhere of a height advantage, standing there YYing, waiting for somebody to walk by. The trick shot, annoying. Bothered me when I saw them. Even worse when I had to spectate them in Search and Destroy, because they like to hide in the back of the map and wait for everyone to die off so they can go out and either clutch it or they can go out and try and trick shot the final guy. Hated them. Hated them with a passion. Number 2, of course, the one-man army danger close noob tube combination. If you've seen somebody with that one-man army backpack, instantly a fire in your belly just goes off and you're just like, ah, that son of a bitch. And 3, the commando knifer. The way they look when you see a player and he's running and you see he only has a pistol in his hand, oftentimes they didn't even kill you, but it annoyed me for some reason. I don't know why, I just got this thing in my head, like, this stupid motherfucker. You can see him. He's running around with his pistol. He's like, I'm going to try and knife you, and then you just shoot him because he's 50 yards away. And you're like, you stupid son of a bitch. I don't know why it bothered me, but it did. But when I see people go knife only, when I see noob tubers or trick shotters, all annoyed me during Modern Warfare 2. Going into Black Ops, I think it was the Halo hop in for monsters. I think during Black Ops was really when like scuff controller, or maybe not scuff, but basically Halo jumping kind of became a thing. Which, of course, I've talked about many times. I think it's one of the stupidest things in the world. People have to jump around like a fairy to try and get themselves a kill while you stand there and poop on them. Look at you. Yeah, so the FAMAS was definitely the best gun in Black Ops 1. Statistically, I think it is the best one. And so when people would use that, it was annoying. And when that person would jump around a corner with this FAMAS, it's like, oh my fucking god, look at this loser. So that always annoyed me. Going from Black Ops into Modern Warfare 3, the most annoying setup or combination was the ACR guy. Hated him, despised him. ACR, just something about that gun. You know, it was a really powerful gun. It was way overused. Didn't have any recoil whatsoever. Everyone used it all the time. It's bothered me. I hated when people only used one thing. I actually made a dual taj with a friend of mine named Deadly in Modern Warfare 3, and we're just dropping quad feed after quad feed with like every freaking gun in the game. And we named the title of the montage Diversity. And at the very end of it, there's a quote saying, life lies in diversity, not in monotony. Get it? Because everyone in the goddamn game was using the ACR, or maybe the MP7. And meanwhile, we're all running around doing better than them with, normal stuff, or other guns, I just hate when people use one thing. So whatever's like the most overused gun in the game, something about it, I just hate it, and it was the ACR for Modern Warfare 3. Going into Black Ops 2, I actually played a little bit of Black Ops 2 tonight. The thing that annoys me the most about that game is kind of similar to Black Ops 1. C4 guys. Just the people that, they watch YouTube videos and they see all these 100+ guys or whatever. Yeah, you've seen the classes. They basically run around with like a submachine gun like an MSMC or an MP7, and they just chuck C4s left and right. Hate it. I don't know why. It just bothers me. I use flak jacket on every class, so it doesn't even hurt me. And I always kill the guy that's throwing C4s at me. But it just annoys me that this guy thinks he's cheeky enough to just throw a C4 every time he turns a corner. Like, this is a first-person goddamn shooter. How about shooting somebody for a change? A freaking loser. That's how I always think about that. Maybe I'm the loser. I don't know. Something about when people always chucking C4s left and right. It got to the point where I had to start using C4s myself, just to counter the annoyances. And They're very easy to use. Hope next Call of Duty doesn't have them at all. And then going into Ghost, the most annoying thing, like you said, it would be the Riot Shield. The Riot Shield C4 combination. Annoying as hell. Really nothing you can do about it. And yeah, it sucks. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, who's your favorite character from The Walking Dead and who do you dislike the most? Sean from Ohio. So Sean, I think Daryl's my favorite character and Andrea was my least favorite character. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I'm a recent subscriber, about 1 or 2 months, and I was wondering, what is your favorite class within Borderlands 2 and why? Mine is the Psycho, even though I constantly go down from hitting myself. Bridger from Montana. So Bridger, my favorite character in Borderlands 2. So I'm going to try and, I don't know, disclose my Borderlands knowledge, I guess. The character I have the most time invested in is Craig the Psycho and Axton the Commando. Got them both to 61. I'm yet to get the DLC to get to 72, but I've beaten the game so many damn times, I'm not even sure if I will. So I've gotten Craig the Psycho to 61. I've gotten Axton the Commando to 61. I've gotten Zero the Assassin to like 40 something. That was my first character. And I've also played around like you've gotten like level 10 or so with the Gunzerker as well as the Siren. My favorite would be Craig the Psycho because he's just pure power. If you do a melee build, he's ridiculous. When I did a playthrough of Borderlands 2, man, it was nuts. So I'm playing with Foxhound and Vicious through the most of it, right? And Vicious was the commando, so he was basically good for his saber turret. And Foxhound was Gage the Necromancer, who basically had Deathclaw. What was the name of Gage's thing? Death Trap, right? Death Trap. Yeah, I think it's called Death Trap. So we had that as well as a bunch of elemental abilities and whatnot. But it was so clear. It's not that I'm a better player than the Borderlands. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But it was that Craig was so powerful. When we would go somewhere and there's tons of enemies around, you know, Vicious is back there throwing down his saber turrets, and I'm the one going buck wild in my Buzzaxe Rampage, destroying everybody, while, you know, Vicious and Foxhound are back there just kind of picking up the scraps. Like, if we would go somewhere, Heroes Pass, for example, I'm the one running through just freaking going wild, killing everybody, because you do such absurd amount of damage with your melee if you do the right kind of build with Craig, that I'm running through just going wild, destroying everybody. Occasionally I'll go down, but not very often, because if you do invest in the right skill trees, every time you get a kill, it will like completely refill your freaking health, and you kill everything in that thing. So I basically did all the work while they just kind of picked up the scraps. And there's definitely a power. If Borderlands 2 were a competitive multiplayer, I think Craig would be the best one, because the sheer damage he does with melee is absurd. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, is there a reason why your clan tag in Call of Duty Ghost is +1? This person neglected to leave his or her name. The reason my clan tag is +1 in COD Ghost is kind of making fun of the whole Google +1 thing. Get it? +1. Yeah, I'm original. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I've been a PlayStation player since Call of Duty 4 all the way up to Ghost. Considering myself to be an average player, but when I tried Battlefield 3 when it came out, I didn't do as well as I thought. So I'm trying again with Battlefield 4. What kind of tips could you share with me? Psycho from Bahrain? Siyko from Bahrain. Bahrain. Psycho from Bahrain? Those are two very obscure words. But, alright, so you've been playing Call of Duty ever since COD 4, going all the way to Ghost. You tried out Battlefield 3, you're not doing so hot. So now Battlefield 4 is out, you would like some kind of tips and some kind of stuff. Battlefield 4 is nothing like Call of Duty. In my honest, humble opinion, it takes way more talent than Call of Duty. It's a much more difficult game. It's a much more, if you play Domination, it's a much more gun skill based game mode as compared to anything in Call of Duty, where there's IEDs around every corner and there's kill streaks and such. If you play Domination, it's pretty much pure gun on gun, which takes a lot. The game itself, it's a lot different. There's more of a skill gap in Battlefield than there is in Call of Duty. Call of Duty is the kind of game that your average player can pick it up and have a 1 KD. When people play Battlefield, not so easy for new players to get that 1 KD. It's actually pretty difficult. Any tips for you? I basically did a field manual of every class, the videos of every class, in Battlefield 4. I strongly recommend you checking those out. There's definitely some good information in there. But other than that, find somebody on your team that's very good and just try and help that person, wherever it is that person might need. You realize someone's going wild, he's doing really good, best man in your squad, and he's running medic. All right, well, now you're going to be either recon, you're going to be support. You're going to make sure that man's got ammo. You're going to make sure that man's got motion sensors so that guy can continue doing what he's doing. And until you get acquainted with the game, basically try and be as helpful as you can without getting in the way too much. That's what I did, and now I'm just freaking awesome at Battlefield 4. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I was wondering if you have ever played League of Legends, and if you have, will you ever post it? This person neglected to leave his or her name. I have played League of Legends. I put probably 8 hours into it. Just not my game. You know, there's a skill gap, which I love games that have skill gaps. So maybe it's because I'm just starting to become really cynical when it comes to Call of Duty. But there's no real skill gaps in Call of Duty. You know, Call of Duty is ever since Modern Warfare 3, every Call of Duty, just every year, it kind of just more and more BS until everyone just kind of starts floating a little bit more closer to a 1 KD. You know, bad players that had below a 1, they're starting to float up more towards a 1. Good players that had above a 1, they're starting to float more down towards 1. There's just a bunch of random BS in Call of Duty now as the game gets, older and older. League of Legends, apparently, I played it, and it's definitely the most popular game in terms of tournaments and live streams and people playing the game. It's a free-to-play game, but there is a giant skill gap, and just how the game's played. You know, you have your champion, and you're fighting, you're trying to take out towers together, and you're doing this thing. It's really teamwork driven. It's just that kind of thing's not really my game. I'm more of a shooter kind of guy. There is a game out there though that does have a giant skill gap. Which is Pokemon Showdown. I'm starting to play that, and it's funny because on the last Dear Nero, I'm like, don't even ask me to start doing Pokemon Showdown videos because I don't want to learn all the shit you have to learn to try and be competent at that game. And here I am, less than a week later, and I'm posting Pokemon Showdown videos to my Let's Play channel. I like Pokemon. I grew up on Pokemon. Pokemon was like really my first game that I played. I did have a Sega Genesis, and I played Sonic the Hedgehog and such. But I really got into gaming thanks to my Game Boy Color and Pokemon Blue. And I've always loved Pokemon. Now, my friend Cypher, SB Cypher, is really good at Showdown. He's been playing it for freaking like 3 years now. He knows the ins and outs of everything. He can look at a Pokemon and tell you what type it is and what its ability probably will be, what item it probably should be having on it, and what moves it probably should have or will have, and what you can expect from it. He's just one of those really good, really competent players. I'm not so much yet at that. I'm still learning. I basically, I played, Red, Blue, and Yellow. Then I played Gold and Silver. Then I played a bit of Ruby and Sapphire, but not a ton. But after that, I didn't touch Pokemon or pay attention to it at all between then and Pokemon X, which I got like last year, right? So I missed Gen 4 and 5. There's so many Pokemon, I don't know what they are. And I'm still fuzzy on a lot of the Gen 2 and the Gen 3 Pokemon. If it's Gen 1, I know everything there is to know about Gen 1. But, Gen 2 through 6, I'm really, if you watch my Showdown videos, you'll see I'm like, all right. Like, right at the beginning of the battle, it shows, like, what both teams are, my team versus their team. I'm like, all right, so that's like a Fable. I don't know what that is. I've played that thing before, but I don't know what it is. That's a Venusaur, probably going to be a Mega, and that's some kind of centipede thing. I don't remember its name. That's what it's like for me. I don't know a lot of these things, and there's definitely a giant skill gap in Pokemon Showdown, similar to League of Legends. And if I had to pick like a super skill-based game that I'm trying to get better at, I've gotten good at Call of Duty. I've gotten good at Battlefield. Now I'm trying to get good at Pokemon Showdown, which is some advice I'd like to give to all of you. Don't be good at one game. If you're good at one game, that's not impressive. You're like, oh boy, you're good at Call of Duty. Oh, it's not that hard to get good at Call of Duty. Just put a little bit of time in, you'll learn it. It's not that hard. Be good at lots of things. It's a lot more fun and a lot more challenging. I like it. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, in a previous video titled 13-Year-Old Kills Mother for Grounding Him from COD, you mentioned that you were arrested at a young age. I was wondering what was it for and what happened afterwards with your family. I understand if you don't want to reply to this or put this question on Dear Nero. From Philip from Tennessee. So that video randomly blew up, right? It's got like 500,000 views. It was basically just me talking about a news article I saw where a 13-year-old killed his mom because she grounded him from Call of Duty, which is a sad, horrible thing. I don't know why I'm laughing at it, but still, it's really kind of, come on, it's kind of funny. So I did get arrested at a younger age. I'll say I was, yeah, probably 15 or 16. Somewhere in that ballpark. So what happened is my friends and I, we went and bought some weed because, for 15 or 16 and wanted to smoke weed. And we'd done it before and usually it's fine. And we got caught by the police. Like, we went underneath the bridge to smoke it. And this sounds so awful, but we went underneath the bridge to smoke it. Somehow a police officer driving by just so happened to see us walk underneath the bridge. He decided to park his car and like walk over ever so stealthily and to see what we were doing. He saw us smoking it underneath the bridge, arrested us, took us away. Yeah, then we got arrested, and that was pretty bad. Then we had like a court date, made like meetings with lawyers and such, and we actually went back and we like talked to the guy like that. I was just a freaking winner like when I was 15. We went back and talked to the guy because he's the guy that bought us our cigarettes because I used to be a smoker as well. And we talked to him about like, yeah, man, we got caught with that. Like, we got arrested. And he's like, oh, man, don't even worry about that. That shit wasn't even real anyway. I'm like, wait, what? He's like, oh, yeah, man, that was fake weed. We're like, oh, God fucking damn it. So he bought basically THC-free marijuana and sold it to us. And we got caught with it. And after he told us that, we went and told my lawyer, I'm like, hey, talk to the guy. And apparently it was THC free. It wasn't real marijuana. And they went and tested it. And turns out it was true. And turns out it's not illegal to have THC free marijuana. And so I didn't actually get in trouble or anything for it. My family, I was grounded for a really long time. My mom was pissed. But, yeah. And it makes me sound like a bad person. Like, oh, man, we were just fucking rolling up doobies underneath the bridge, smoking out of pop cans. Oh, we were all kind of hell buying cigarettes. I don't think smoking cigarettes was that bad. I'm glad I quit smoking. I quit smoking cigarettes last year. I was never into drinking or weed, really. I'd probably smoked weed probably 6 times. All of them were when I was like 15 or 16. And the last time I drank alcohol, I was probably 17. That was all, during high school. I'm 22 now. So don't think of me as a bad person. Don't think of me as a bad person. Yeah. Basically, a lot of people, they experiment with drugs and alcohol when they're in high school. And I was one of them. Realized it wasn't for me. And don't do either one of them. So that's I got arrested for smoking fake weed story. Hope you enjoy. Next question. He writes, Dear Nero, what is your favorite TV show of all time? Sean from Ohio. Wow, I just realized the same person wrote 2 questions. That or it's a super duper coincidence that there's 2 Seans from Ohio's. King of the Hill. King of the Hill. Fantastic show. Seen every episode probably 5 times. Love that show. Hank Hill's a good man. Next question. He writes, Dear Nero, and I just realized this guy is actually the same person that wrote the previous question. He got 2 questions in here, but either way, Dear Nero, what was your favorite game of all time? Any game, not just COD or Battlefield. So not just COD or Battlefield. Does that mean not just or limited to Call of Duty or Battlefield, or not limited to Call of Duty or Battlefield? I'm gonna answer this 2 ways. So between COD and Battlefield, my favorite game would be Call of Duty World at War. My favorite game of all time, just for fun, we'll make it a not Call of Duty game, because Call of Duty World at War would probably be my favorite all time. It's so much fun. Love that game. Love World War II. Favorite game of all time? Does Pokemon count? Would Pokemon count? Because I think, Pokemon Red or Blue, I think would definitely be up there. Love those stuff. A Fire Red, which is the same thing, but basically a remastered thing. I'm going to say one of the old school Pokemon games. Another good one's Red Dead Redemption. Another good one's Borderlands 2. Another good one is Skyrim. Next question. He writes, Dear Nero, this is a simple question, but is your profile picture on Twitter a picture of you? Also, thanks for answering my question on last week's Dear Nero about whether or not you thought Nintendo was dying. Christian from Florida. So yes, the picture on my Twitter account, @NeroTweets. Follow for a free, I don't know, just follow it. Yeah, that's me, holding my cousin's Mawson, which was in a video that, people ask for my face reel and stuff all the time. There is a video of me and my cousin shooting his World War II 1945 straight bolt Moznagon, straight out of Russia, straight from the Soviet Union. It's pretty neat. It's got the hammer and sickle and the star of the Red Army just engraved right there in the middle and everything. It's fantastic. Fantastic weapon. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I know you're a Walking Dead fan. I want to know your opinion on how the rest of the season is going to go. Do you think that baby Judith is alive? And do you think that the other main characters or any other of the main characters are going to die? Kyle from New York. So, without talking too much about certain predictions and things, I'm going to say, of course, there's going to be some main characters dying. Probably not super main ones, but there are going to be some pretty main characters dying the rest of this season. And is baby Judith alive? In my opinion, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Yes, she is. I'm going to say, yeah, she definitely is. They want to just let her, not too often, on the Walking Dead show anyway, do people die off camera. Even though it was a baby, not too often. So I'm going to say she's still alive. Next and final question. He writes, or maybe she, didn't leave their name, so I don't know. It's a transgender person. How long do you think you will continue your DayZ Let's Play? I don't know. As long as the game stays interesting. The game is still in pre-alpha, and I've made nearly 50 videos of it. The tricky thing is, occasionally, it's difficult to find times in which myself and Nick both are free to record. Nick has a job. Nick's got his own life going on. And then there's me. Yeah, my sleep schedule's always wrecked. I've never got anything going on. I'm always good to record and such, but my sleep schedule's always awful. So, when, he's able to record, I'm sleeping. He's at work and stuff, I'm awake and ready to go. So sometimes it's difficult to record, but we have nearly 50 videos of the DayZ standalone, which is still in pre-alpha. And there's almost 50 videos of it. So if that's a mark of a good game, if the game's not even in beta yet, it's not even alpha yet, it's in pre-alpha, and I've got 50 videos of it, I think it's a pretty damn good game. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of Dear Nero. I'm looking at the timestamps here, and good golly, Miss Molly, it looks like we got ourselves another long one. But for whatever reason, you guys seem to enjoy these long ones, and I like doing it. It's my favorite video of the week to do, because there's no creativity on my part, no real thinking. It's just get some gameplay, put it up there, and answer some questions. It's a really fun video series. I love it. We're almost 80 episodes in, doing this stuff forever. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of Dear Nero. If you guys did, please be sure to leave a rating. And if you guys like sending your guys' questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, just send me a personal message here on YouTube. Make the title of the message Dear Nero. At the end of the week, probably next Wednesday morning or next Tuesday night, I usually go through them. I read through all of them. If there are questions I haven't answered before or questions I think would be good questions to answer, some of them are just stupid that you guys send, I'll be honest. But a lot of them are pretty good. And if I haven't answered them before, I copy and paste them in this little text document here, read them off, answer them, and there we go. Dear Nero. Boom. So, hope you guys all enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
I was banging 7 grand rocks, that's how I roll. I got one year go. Are you bipolar?